So Mo, why did you get into real estate?
It's a good question. Why would anyone want to subject themselves to the torture of real estate? For me, my story starts not from a place of passion, really. 2019, 2020, when right before the world was starting to dive into chaos because of COVID, I had worked in software sales for a while, and I had a little bit of nice chunk of change saved up. I'm a pretty frugal guy. I didn't want to put it in the stock market, so I was like, let me put it in real estate. And again, I'm not coming from a place of passion. This was like a very boring me to say, hey, I don't want to keep it in the bank account. Let me put it somewhere where it'll at least grow slowly. But it was my first ever tenant that, sparked that light bulb in me to like get into real estate full time. Because when he had applied for my unit, right out of the gate, I didn't want to rent to him because his credit score was so low. But when I got to know him, I realized that okay, he immigrated here legally only a couple of years ago. So his credit score was low, not because he didn't have any, he had bad payments or not, no on-time payments. It's because his credit score was still so new. But he had great work history. He'd been here only for a couple of years. And even though his credit score wasn't great, his work history was really great. And, when I accepted his application and I told him that, he called me and he was just so grateful. He's like, wow, like, thank you so much for taking the chance on me. Because now my daughters can live in an area with a good school district, and it's really affected their lives positively. And I realized, like, for me, that's when like the spark went off, the light bulb went off, because real estate can be a vehicle to really impact the trajectory of a family's life, because now you have folks that are living in an area where they're growing up next to neighbors of doctors, engineers, things like that. That is a profoundly positive impact that you're having on a family's trajectory in life. And for me, that was really eye-opening, because I realized I could do good and I could still make money with it. So it was a no-brainer. I was like, oh, this is like my calling in life now. And I was like, hey, you know what? I quit my job after a couple of years, like after I realized that. And I realized the first thing for me to do in real estate is get my real estate license and start learning from there. And here I am a few years later, still learning every single day, obviously, but I'm having the time of my life. That's why I got into real estate, because of my tenants.